We'll just be making a start now. And so for those who are new, this event is live stream on YouTube. Um, it'll roughly last for roughly 40 minutes or so. Um, Everybody's mics are muted. And if I'm disconnected at any point, I'll reconnect straight back onto Zoom. And it's being live streamed on YouTube as well. So for those who are new, just a quick intro into what is meditation. So meditation is actually just bringing our attention into our actual existential being, into our existential presence, and realizing who we are beyond the sense of identity or the ego or the sense of self that the mind projects, and to realize beyond this thought of who I am, beyond the conditioning of past and future, beyond this thought of who I am, there's just this existential present. You still exist, even if there is no thought of identity, that you still just exist as existence itself, as life itself, and it's bringing your attention into that state of being. And that is a natural, effortless state of meditation is always there. That state of being is always there. It's just recognizing that and allowing the attention to rest in that. And so many techniques are used. First, a lot of techniques use concentration, so concentrating on the breath or some sound or some point in the body or some external object, just to first focus our attention on a particular object and to concentrate, develop our concentration on that object. Normally, our attention is scattered, moving to each and every sense impression, to each and every thought, emotion, sensation. So we learn to sort of focus our attention on one point, on one object. And when we do that, slowly our attention merges with that object, and the sense of subject and object dissolves, and then it naturally brings us back into that state of just being, and then there's that recognition. So in today's meditation, we'll be using 3 different techniques. We'll be first starting with the breath, watching the breath coming in and out, and then we'll be working on the third eye meditation, focusing our attention at the point in between the eyebrows, and then we'll be finishing with just that contemplation inquiry into our eternal nature. So just sit down now comfortably, preferably keeping your spine straight, keeping distractions at a minimum. And the first technique is just being aware of the breath. So now just bringing your attention to the nostril area, bringing your attention to the nostril area, the entire nostril area. And as you inhale, just observing that sensation of air you feel as you inhale. So you may feel some sensation of air coming through the left nostril or right nostril. Just seeing where you feel individually. Where do you feel that sensation of air coming through? Do you feel it coming through the left nostril or right nostril or both the nostril as you inhale and exhale? As you inhale, watching the breath coming in, feeling them sensations. As you exhale, watching the breath going out, feeling the sensation of air passing back out the nostrils as you naturally exhale. And initially, as you focus on the breath, initially, you may find you start to change your breathing or alter your breathing consciously. However, in this technique, you just have to be aware of the breath moment to moment as it is. There's no need to alter or change the breath in any way, just to observe it as it is, observing the breath coming in and out. You don't have to change the breathing in any way. You don't have to slow your breathing down, make it deeper, hold onto your breath in any way. Just to observe the breath coming in, feeling that sensation of the breath coming in the nostrils as you inhale and exhale. And naturally your attention will wander to different thoughts, to different sounds, sensations in your environment. And each time you recognize your attention is not with the breath, then just be aware, consciously bring your awareness to whatever object your attention is placed upon, whether that's some thought, some sound, or some bodily sensation or emotion, some memory. Just in this moment, just be aware of where your attention is. Is it with the breath? Is it with another thought or experience? If it's with some other thought experience, just observe that, take a step back and just observe that experience. Observe it like a passing cloud within oneself, within one's awareness. It's just appearing in some form. Some thought may be appearing in some form in this moment. In its own time, it will dissolve. You don't have to hold on to it or push it away. You may also be aware at that point of some part of your identity starts to be stirred by that particular thought, emotion, or experience. And there may be some personal narrative identification with that experience. There may be some feeling around that experience, maybe pleasantness, unpleasantness, maybe some reaction. Just to be aware of that if that's occurring within you. And then to bring your attention back to the nostril area, to bring your attention back to the breath. Again, watching the breath coming in and watching the breath going out. And so just watching the breath in this way, focusing on the breath, watching the breath coming in and out in its own rhythm. And then each time you notice your attention is not with the breath, noticing where your attention is, being aware of that particular thought experience, seeing if any part of yourself is reacting to that particular thought or experience and observing that reaction or some inner narrative, observing your own sense of identity and your own conditioned thoughts and emotions. Just finding that space of awareness in the same way you are aware of the breaths, and you just observe the breath coming in and out in the same way, observing these experiences, these thoughts, this sense of identity and narrative, and its identification and reaction, just seeing it as it is moment to moment. Seeing that this awareness, this innate awareness, this innate consciousness is beyond the identity, is beyond the fleeting experiences. It's a natural sense of awareness which is unchanging, undisturbed by any experience, which is beyond the identity. So slowly we're touching into that space within oneself, into that space of just awareness, of observation, just seeing reality as it is, moment to moment. By first allowing our attention and our concentration to focus on the breath, using the breath as a gateway, the breath as a anchor to go deeper within ourselves, and then to observe in the same way as we observe the breath coming in and out without any judgment, just seeing it as it is, the breath coming in, breath going out. And we learn to just observe our thoughts, emotions, sensations, movements of energy within ourselves in the same way. All these experiences naturally coming and dissolving back into that awareness, that unchanging awareness, a sense of just witnessing, being present here and now. So just practicing this way for the next few moments before we move to the next technique. Watching the breath coming in and out and bringing your conscious awareness whenever your attention is with some other experience. Watching, watching, coming into a state of natural awareness. Just noticing where your attention is in this moment. Is it with the breath or some other experience? Just to be aware. If your attention is with some other experience, just be aware of that experience. If your attention is with the breath, just be aware of the breath and the subtle sensations of the breath. And as your attention stays with the breath for longer periods of time, a natural sense of calmness in the body and mind. Naturally, the thoughts start slowing down and the body becomes also calmer and tranquil as your attention focuses on one object, on the breath. If your attention is scattered, it's not a problem. Just be aware of that, being aware of any sense of frustration or emotion which arises if your attention is continually moving. Normally, our minds are naturally unconsciously moving from one experience to another without focusing with our will on a particular object. So take some training of the will and attention for us to concentrate on one object. So if your attention is moving here and fro, then just be aware of this, aware of how that sense of identity may arise up, the sense of me and the personal narrative may rise up, and how it interacts with these different experiences, different thoughts and memories and past and future, and emotions and sensations in the body. Just observing it all occurring within you, like a motion picture occurring within you. And so we'll be moving now to the second technique, is focusing on the point in between the eyebrows, the third eye meditation. And so now just, if you wish to carry on with the breath, you can carry on with the breath if you're new to meditation. If not, you can follow the instructions for the third eye technique. If at any point you want to go back to the breath, trying the third eye technique, and then you want to go back to the breath, you can do. And so now just bringing your attention to the point in between the eyebrows, bringing your attention to the point in between the eyebrows. And you can still be aware of the breath coming in and out. So as you focus your attention at the point in between the eyebrows, as you inhale, just feeling as though you're breathing in life force energy, breathing in fresh new energy from the surroundings as you inhale, feeling that energy move up the nostrils and move up from the base of the spine, moving up the spine to the point in between the eyebrows. And as you exhale, just allowing your attention to rest at the space in between the eyebrows and just feeling your attention penetrating inwards from the point inside the point in between the eyebrows. So breathing in, feeling as though you're breathing in fresh new energy into the system and that life force energy moving up the nostrils and up the spine to the point in between the eyebrows. And as you exhale, just allowing your attention to rest into the space in between the eyebrows. And slowly your attention becoming absorbed into this point in between the eyebrow. Slowly your attention becoming absorbed into this point in between the eyebrows. And when you find your attention has stabilized at this point and you feel your attention being drawn to this point in between the eyebrows, then you can stop visualizing the breath coming in and out, or you can stop feeling this sense of energy and moving the attention towards the point in between the eyebrows as you inhale. Instead, just allow your attention to rest at this space in between the eyebrows and just feeling as though you're inwardly looking within oneself from this point in between the eyebrows. This is the third eye, the inner eye, as our physical eyes look outer into the world, into the physical space, and observe the objects within the physical space. The inner eye can perceive the inner space, the inner infinite, boundless, unchanging space, formless space within oneself. And within that formless space, it observes the different movement of form, the different movement of experience, of thought, of emotion, energy within that inner space. So, using the third eye, we can look within our inner space and observe experiences coming and going, the movement of form, movement of energy within ourselves, and see things from a higher perspective, see things as they are, see reality as it is moment to moment. So if your attention is sort of focused, you feel your attention being pulled at the point in between the eyebrows, you can stop observing the breath or visualizing the breath as a flow of energy and just allow your attention to move inwards from this point in between the eyebrows, feeling yourself looking into oneself, connecting to one's inner space, unchanging, formless inner space within oneself. And within that inner space, there may be movement of thought. Some thoughts may bubble up to the surface, and you feel as though you're watching them thoughts, watching them experiences from the third eye, from the point in between the eyebrow. And feeling as though you're looking within oneself from the point in between the eyebrow, looking within oneself, connecting to that inner dimension of space within oneself. And within your inner space, there may be a movement of thought arising. Thoughts arise, different experiences maybe arise, feeling as though there's forms of energy, forms of vibration, frequency, which arise, different thoughts having different frequencies, different emotions having different frequencies, a different feeling, a different sense of energy around them. And that these thoughts and experiences rise within that infinite boundless space of oneself. These thoughts arise as forms within ourselves, and they appear and they create a whole sense of reality, an image within ourselves, an image within our consciousness. And our attention moves to that image, to that form, to that motion picture projected within one's self. And then in its own time, that form of thought, that emotion, again, then dissolves back into that infinite space within oneself, back into the memory. And in between that movement of form, movement of experience, in between, sometimes you may be aware of the gap in between the thoughts, where there's just silence, where there's just a sense of presence, there's just sense of just simply being, where there's no particular thought, or maybe engaging in no particular thought, but there's just a sense of just being aware, and there's just a sense of inner space, inner formless space, silence within oneself. Just recognizing this sense of inner space in between the thoughts, in between the experiences. And even while that thought may be appearing and disappearing, you can still perceive that sense of space or sense of silence, presence in which these thoughts come and go. Feeling as though you're looking in from the third eye and observing experience internally within oneself. And just focusing at the point in between the eyebrows, observing inwardly from the point in between the eyebrows, looking into one's experience, looking into the movement of thought and emotions, observing that inner narrative and sense of identity which appears, the sense of inner story and past and future. And then beyond that, recognizing that inner space within oneself which is untouched, which doesn't have any boundary, which is limitless, formless. Just like the outer space is limitless, boundless, in which objects appear within, in the same way that inner space, limitless, boundless, everywhere. And in that, there's this objects of experience, objects of thoughts or emotions, past, future. But if you focus your perception on the inner space, that inner space is beyond time and space. It's just a sense of presence, of being, a deeper sense of awareness, which is unchanging. Normally, our attention is habitually conditioned to focus on the objects of our experience instead of the one who's having that experience, into the space of presence or existence within oneself, in which the experiences come and go, into the source of life within oneself.
Have you frozen, Priyesh? I can't hear you, love.
No, just some silence. Sorry.
Oh, I see. Forgive me.
And so we'll be moving now to the third technique, just a recognition of that inner awareness. So if you wish to stay with the breath, you can do. Or if you wish to stay with the third eye meditation, then you can carry on with the third eye meditation. If not, you can let go of practicing any technique and just simply just sit with oneself. And so as you sit with oneself, just being aware of wherever your attention is in this moment. Is it with the breath? Is it with some thought or another experience? Is it with the third eye area? Where is your attention in this moment? And then just to shift your attention instead of focusing on that particular object of experience, just shift your attention and recognize what is actually aware in this moment, what is actually watching that particular object, whether it's the breath or some thought or some sense impression, what's actually aware in this moment, who is actually aware in this moment. Even the sense of identity of me, I, is observed within oneself. So just to bring your attention to the sense of just being aware, just being conscious, just existing here and now. And so as you sit in this way, not particularly practicing any technique, but shifting your attention just to this space of just being, this space of just awareness within oneself. The attention may move to some object of experience, each time being aware of wherever your attention moves to, and then bringing your attention just to the sense of just being aware or simply watching. You don't have to watch any particular experience or object, but just this sense of just being aware, just a sense of just existing here and now, to bring your attention to the space within oneself. Normally, our attention is focused on the objects of our experience, even the sense of our identity and past and future appear as a thought, appear as an experience in the moment. But behind every experience is temporary changing in nature. Behind every experience is this space of awareness, space of aware presence. And to bring your attention to this space within oneself, which is always there. There's always this sense of awareness, this sense of existing, this sense of being, which is effortlessly there. It's not something you have to do or to achieve. It's just a natural state of being, which is always there, ever present, which is unchanging in nature, which is not disturbed by any experience or any emotion or any personal story. It's just a natural state of existence which exists within everything. And to allow the attention to rest in this natural state of existence, this natural state of being, natural state of pure awareness, there's a deeper sense of connection with all that is. There's a connection with that life force, the source of life within oneself. Before thought, before our social identity, before our inner identity and image of the world. Before that, there's just pure sense of existing, pure source of life, and bringing yourself to that innocence, to that purity of life within oneself, beyond the narratives, beyond the stories, beyond the conditionings. In that essence, you're completely pure, perfect, as you should be, as you are. Only the identity is fragmented. Your essential being is pure, perfect in nature. And when you touch the space, recognize the space within oneself. Naturally, your attention will go back into your conditioned sense of identity and the particular thought patterns and belief patterns you hold onto and emotional patterns and the energy vibration you hold. Your attention will move back into that space, back into that sense of separateness, back into that energy field, back into that frequency. And each time then to be aware that your attention now has moved back into these thoughts, back into this sense of separateness. Each time to be aware of that and then bring your attention back to that essential space within oneself. And in this way, as you allow your attention to rest in a natural state of presence, emotions, thoughts, belief systems are transformed or cleansed in that space of being. You can let go of different beliefs, different thoughts, which no longer serve you, and just allow life to flow from this source within oneself, this source of life, of existence within oneself, and allowing that energy to flow through you, flow through the movement of inspiration, of creativity, allowing life to flow through you into your actions, into your speech, into your thoughts. And only when you connect into some condition, thought or emotion, again you get stuck in to your normal sense of identity and separateness and disconnection and imperfection. Each time you shift your perception back in to your true nature, there's a letting go of that, them thoughts, them frequencies, them energy forms which you normally hold on to. And then them energy forms can dissolve into that space of being. They can go back into a source. And that's the real healing, is actually just connecting to your own existential presence, connecting to that life, source of life within oneself, and allowing your conditioned mind and emotions and energies to be washed in that pure presence of life, to be transformed in that pure presence of life. What no longer serves you dissolves back into its source, back into that essential state of being. And whatever needs to come forth into one's expression comes from this space, the source of life, of existence within oneself, and intuitively guides you, appears as thought, inspiration, creates inspired action through oneself. And then the main awareness is to be aware of whenever life is, that source of life is creatively moving through oneself through inspired thought and action. And when you're listening to the ego mind and the conditioned mind, and to sense that difference of the intuitive flow of creativity of life within oneself and that expression of intuition, and to see when the normal 3D mind, the mind which connects to past and future, to its conditioned emotions and personal stories, when you're operating from that sense of identity, or when you're operating from that free flow of life of intuition within oneself. And that meditation can be done in your daily life to sense, where are you taking, where are you speaking from, where are you thinking from, where are you acting from? Is it from that conditioned state of mind, or is it from that pure source of life expressing itself moment to moment as it needs to? And so now we'll be coming to an end of the meditation. So now just either just resting in your own space of being, feeling that completeness within oneself, fulfillment within oneself, connection with all that is. And then slowly bringing your attention to the breath, slowly bringing your attention back to the body, consciousness. And just being aware of your posture, your bodily posture, being aware of yourself sitting on a chair or wherever you're sitting, feeling that connection of your body with the earth, and just scanning your attention from the top of the head down to the feet and down into the earth, and releasing any excess energy down through the body, down into the earth, earthing oneself, releasing that excess energy, and feeling the connection of the body and the earth. The body is of the earth, and feeling the vibration of the earth rising up through the body, feeling a sense of support and being nurtured by the earth, and then coming back to the breath, aware of the breath, aware of the body, and aware of the outer senses, the sense of any taste in the mouth or smell, aware of any sounds, then slowly moving your hands, your feet, and then in your own time, opening your eyes, in your own time, opening your eyes. And as you open your eyes and as you come back into your body consciousness and external senses, still feeling that deep sense of peace within oneself, that peace which naturally exists as that sense of space of being, as that space of existence which is always present within oneself. And I know there's maybe one of the few people on YouTube watching. So if anybody has any questions, you can um, leave them in the live chat, or if not, the next session will be next Sunday at 2 p.m. Yeah, so I hope you enjoyed it. Also, you can watch this session, or catch up with the previous sessions on our YouTube channel. Um, and there's some other sound meditations and other meditations also on our YouTube channel as well. Yeah, so thank you for coming, and enjoy the rest of your day.
Yeah, thank you so much, Priyesh.
Thank you,
Sorry
Tila.
I
Yeah.
was late. Thanks for letting me in.
Yeah, sorry, I just seen it. Yeah, afterwards I was in between. Yeah, so
Oh,
yeah,
I
didn't
know
see
you
it.
get into the zone, don't you? And I thought, oh, he's
Yeah.
never going to let me in. And I was a bit late because I actually went shopping, which is unbelievable.
Okay.
So, yeah, I guess you're going to go shopping in a minute, are you?
Yeah. Basically, I've got I'm going on holiday tomorrow.
Are
With the
you?
kids for 4 days. Yeah. We're going to like a caravan place in Lincolnshire, to the seaside. Cleethorpes is called. So yeah, got a few things to do. Yeah.
Oh, how
Um,
lovely. Cleethorpes, did you say?
Cleethorpes is called. Yeah.
Oh, how wonderful. What have you got, a caravan?
Yeah. That's right. Yeah.
Oh, well, have a lovely, lovely time, won't you?
Yeah. We will do. Hopefully the weather's okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you want to chat, I've got like up till 3 o'clock. Yeah.
All right.
Another 10 minutes or so. Yeah. So
Should we do the usual then?
yeah. No problem. Yeah.
All
Okay
right.
then.